Welcome back to another project. This week I'm going to do a resin project. I don't know if you remember the tiger bowl or platter I did where it cracked. We had a fail and it cracked, and I promised you guys that I'd do another one, so that's what I'm going to attempt to do. So the first colour I'm going to pour is the orange. I've got a 10 inch, well it's just under 10, it's 9.5 inch silicone mould here. I don't want it very thick, I only want about 25, yeah, about 25-30 mil thick, not very thick at all. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix 500 grams up to start with. I think that'll take more than that, but I'm going to mix 500 grams up to start with. And then we'll cast the orange, and then I'll do exactly the same as I did before. I will print off a tiger template, stick it on, cut it out, and then recast it with the black, and hopefully this time we won't have the thermal cracking in it. They're going to change it. Last time I was putting 1% of catalyst in. Some people messaged me and said try less catalyst. I've done loads of different projects so far with 0.5% of catalyst in, and that seems to be working a lot better. It doesn't shrink so much, it doesn't generate as much heat for deep pours, so that's a bonus. And yes, it takes a little bit longer to go off, but I'm quite happy for it to sit here for 3 or 4 days to cure, to give me the pattern that we want. So let's get some gloves on, let's get a mask on, and let's get some orange mixed up and get it poured. Right, so I've mixed now for 4 minutes, well mixed up. I had the heat gun on it just to warm up a little bit because the resin was a bit thick and gooey, so it's nice and watery now, which helps the air bubbles come to the top. The reason being I want it thin to get rid of the air bubbles is because I can't get this 10 inch, I can only get 9 inch in my pressure pot, and this is 9 3/4, just over 9 3/4 inches, so I can't get in the pressure pot unfortunately. So yeah, so I want nice and thin. Right, so we want some orange. I don't think the 500 grams will be enough for the depth I want, but we'll try it and see what happens. So, it's been mixed up, I'll just pour that in there now. That's only about half the depth we want, so we need to mix up another 500 grams of resin. Right, so we've got 1,000 grams of resin in there. That should be enough to, well, just give us we've got 30 ml from the top, and that's 6, so we've got about 30 ml of resin in there now. So that's I've obviously deep enough for the orange. So what I'm going to do is just run the hot air gun over the top of this just to pop any air bubbles, and then as it's going off I'll give it a bit of a swirl to so we get a bit of a swirly effect inside it. So we'll let that set, and like I said, I'll just give it a swirl every now and again just to give it a bit of a mix up so we get a swirly pattern in it, and then we'll see what light comes out in the morning. So I'll see you guys on the other side. So the blanker's cast set. I've got this pattern, same principle as I did the last video or the other video. So I've got this pattern, I've cut it out, so I'm just going to trace it on with a Sharpie, and then we're going to cut it out on the bandsaw. So I'll trace. So there's our pattern. If I cut all these out, then it should leave me one continuous piece of orange, which is the plan, and then the rest should be black. So let's get this over to the bandsaw and get it cut out. So a little change of plan. Going to cut it out on the fret saw, coping saw, whatever you want to call it. Scroll saw. Sorry, Jamie. Just because the blade I've got in the bandsaw is a wide blade, and I haven't got a narrow blade to replace with because it broke the other day. So we'll do it on the scroll saw. So I've now cut this up, I've cleaned this all out, it's a bit tacky, I've cleaned it with some acetone just to take the powdery stuff off of it. I'll give another clean up before we put it in. But what I want to do is, I want to put a layer of black in the bottom because I don't really want that going all the way through. So I want that sat on top because I only want this pattern on the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix up 500 grams of resin and put some black into it. So that's the bottom, only a thin layer, and then once, well, as that starts to cure, I'll then put another layer over the top of that, and then hopefully that'll be right. So I'm going to mix up some resin now, and we'll get a thin layer in the bottom of that. Right, so we leave that to start to cure, which will be perhaps 3 or 4 hours, and then we'll stand this on top, and then we'll pour another load on top of that to give us our thickness. So I'll come back when this is ready to go. So just quickly, orange bit in, black poured on top, bit of dust from where I put the hot air gun over the top of that. So we'll leave that to dry now and come back to it. Hopefully we can have another bash at the Tiger Platter. Fingers crossed this time it don't crack. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for making it to the end. There may be a couple of videos down below that you might be interested in. If you do, pop over and check them out. Also, if you're a subscriber to the channel, then thank you very much for your continuous support. And if you're not a subscriber to the channel, then pop over and click this link here to subscribe to the channel. And don't forget to hit the bell notification to be notified for all my latest uploads. So anyway guys, take care, speak to you soon.